I've got to find my way in. I'll go underneath. Oh, I'm going to be filthy now. It doesn't matter. Okay. Look at the camera.
All right.
Righto.
Well, here we are.
I've just battled my way in here. Now, what's going on here? It's raining and all.
We've got the saw jammed and I'm just trying to extract it.
We've got the saw jammed, is that? Or is you've got the saw jammed?
I've got the saw jammed. We'll leverage it out and chop it out and do whatever needs to happen.
Anyway, you've been busy since yesterday because how many trees did Wayne drop yesterday?
9 out yesterday and 6 from the day before. So he cleaned up the day before all that mess and took the logs out, then dropped this lot here that you're looking at, and I'm just taking the logs out.
Right, so you had how many days to clean up the first drop before he came back?
Oh, we had a few days, maybe 3 days, 4 days for the first lot.
Well, you were pretty busy, I reckon, because you cleaned up an awful lot. I was pretty impressed when I saw it.
We've got a bit of a system now, though, so we'll take the logs, then Wayne does the heavy lifting with the machine, and we'll get a stack of logs and a stack of all of the leftover branches and leaves and slash and stuff like that.
Well, his machine makes that easy. When they're first dropped, how do you handle a tree? Because there's green stuff and little branches and all that stuff. What do you do?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm an expert.
You will be soon.
I will be soon, yeah. I take the ends off, so the taller stuff, the leaves and the branches come off first, and then I trim up the logs and then just take as long a section of logs as I can get, because I know the machine can lift it, and then we'll trim them up a bit more later.
I know that machine's a bit of a thumper, isn't it?
Yeah, what an amazing machine. It makes light work of it, yeah, it's really good.
You're impressed with the little claw one?
Oh, the ripper. Yeah, he uses the ripper to detach some of the roots before pushing them over, and then that ripper's great because he can split up the root ball afterwards and put it in the pile for burning. It has a side tilt, so he can kind of jam it into the top of the root ball, and then he gives it a bit of a twist, and it sort of just cracks them like an apple. It's really good, and I know that it's that root ball which is hard to burn. You'll burn your whole pile, and we've had it down the back. You just get left with one enormous root ball that you just never seem to be able to get rid of.
Now, you're going to push these trees over in a minute, aren't you?
Yeah.
Before you push those trees over, what are you going to do?
Rip around the base of them, loosen them.
Which side?
Whatever side I can get into.
Oh.
And heave-ho.
Heave-ho, righto, and that'll be in no time flat, won't it?
Certainly will be.
And you've done a pretty good job there. This thing...
Well, it couldn't be any awkwarder than where we've been.
Well, it's a pretty steep little spot too, isn't it?
Yeah, greasy as anything. There's a couple of little edges there, and you get over the edge of that and it takes a bit of scrambling back.
Yes, right, all right. Well, I won't get in your way because the rain's going to wanting to come now.
On us a bit now.
All right,
yeah.
I'll get out of your way.
There's a bit of rot in the bottom of them, not heaps, but it's starting to come up, and so it helps to really validate why we've decided to take them all down and get them away from the house, because it's just a matter of time. And we've had one come over, a couple actually come over, one near the house and one further up behind me here. And it just sort of shows you get those big wind events like we have and have had up here, and one day one was just going to fall on the house, so better to take them out, I think.
Well, good morning, Wayne. How's the job going today?
Oh, real good. Yeah, good.
I see you broke some branches off that corner tree.
Yes. Tidied him up a little bit so I can get in a bit closer to rip him, and over he comes.
So you're still going to push him this way?
Yes, downhill. If you're pushing from the bottom side, you risk branches breaking off and coming down on you. Other way, well, go away from you.
Well, that'd spoil your lunch if that happened.
Oh, wouldn't be good at all. No.
So today you're going to clean all this side up?
Yep, all this side will be cleaned up now. I've split all the stumps and...
They split easily?
Yeah, they weren't too bad.
And then you've got to think up strategies for this side.
Yeah, we'll push them sideways a bit so we don't have the branch problem. If I can get my mate going here and get that fence down, we'll be right.
Oh, well, he's going all right so far, isn't he?
Yeah, got a bit of a nick in some of them, and when they're long, they're a bit awkward to handle, so you're better off just put a saw cut in them and keep your heap nice and tight and not too big.
And this whole lot will be set fire to tomorrow.
Oh,
Next time you come back.
I'll be in church tomorrow.
Of course you will.
Yeah, I just come up here for a Sunday picnic.
So you got to put your little goosey what's in this?
Put my pin in there and away we go.
That's pretty precision work, really. You came here from the city, and I don't know whether you'd had any country experience, had you?
No, we had a little bit when I was younger. My dad had some beef cattle. We had a property up at Ngambie, but I wasn't particularly involved. We were still city folk. That was a sort of a weekender. So this is all fairly new. We've been here for about 4 years now, I think. So.
Well, what about chainsaw? Did you ever have cause to use a chainsaw much when you were a city slicker?
No, we didn't actually have a chainsaw when we lived in town, so it's a bit of a change to go from not using a chainsaw to chopping up these things. But anyway, you get to work your way around, and you just try and be safe as you can and take your time, and we tend to do okay.
You couldn't have got much further from living conditions like this because you were quite a pen pusher, weren't you? Or is that a rude way of saying you were an accountant? Worked in an office, and tell us about your job.
I still am. I work mostly remotely here. COVID changed a lot. Yeah, our whole office essentially shut down and became a remote office. At the moment, still happily working remotely from here and just travelling when I need to do so.
So you've gone from a little house block in the eastern suburbs to 180 acre farm?
Yeah, 160 we've got here, and plenty of hills and a lot more space than Montana. We've been settled in here, and we've got our animals, and we've got the cows and horses and goats and kids. And it's all been a big change. Yeah, we just got our little house cow up there as well. She'll be calving in the next month, so we'll have some fresh milk for you.
Well, that'll be a bit of fun, won't it?
Yeah, I think it'll be a new challenge.
Now, we're pretty exposed here, like you get good NBN, but it means you are really open to the weather. And anyway, yesterday when you were busy out here, it was an actual pig of a cold day because you could feel the snow on the mountains. I reckon it was hanging around really close wanting to come here. Did you get it all miserable yesterday afternoon in the cold when you were started off tackling all this?
Yeah, the cold yesterday was hard. It's not as cold today, it's windier.
Geez, it's better with this damn coat on. When I get home, I'm going to scope my fire up to buggery and not go very far from it. For a while, anyway. Well, it's not a bad job for him in the middle of winter when he normally wouldn't be going into the paddocks, because he's not going into the paddocks, is he? Like, he's dangling on the edge of it, but he's on sort of solid ground.
He's getting precariously close to the edge behind us here because we have quite a steep drop. He's got the arm on the machine and he has cleaned up predominantly most of what came down.
You've got a Lucas mill, haven't you? And this is part of your plan. You're going to mill all this.
Yeah, that's why we're taking the logs out. Otherwise, Wayne would just chuck it all into a big pile, which is the normal sort of practice, but we'll mill them up, get some good timber and sort of see these trees put to good use. I don't know how old they are, but maybe 70 or 80 years in the ground. It's a shame to just see them burn, especially given that we have the mill and, you know, it's no effort for anyone else to have done it this way. Yeah, he's done a great job on that tree for me. He'll save me a lot of work. To do that sort of work manually would take, I don't know, there's just days of work in every tree and the machine makes light work of it. That's precision. He's dropped that right between my gate posts. He didn't break anything. I'm pretty happy I can pop my gate straight back on and put my fences up and not have to fix an end structure. That's good.
You're going to push all of these trees over. How does pushing trees over compare to building dams?
It's a fair bit harder and...
Harder than building dams?
Yeah, by a fair bit. Because all these trees are just unpredictable which way they're going to fall. You've got to sort of get it in your head which way it's going to fall, but it doesn't always happen that way.
Have you ever had one fall on your machine?
No, I've been lucky.
Well, you have a good look. You ought to understand how they're going to behave by now pretty much, shouldn't you?
Yeah, well, you get used to looking at them and see where the weight is, and once you've done one, you've got a bit of an idea how hard they are to get out and what they'll do in the hole when you're pushing them out and all that sort of thing.
So you're going to push over all of these pine trees, and the one behind us it's a big old mongrel looking thing.
Oh, he is. He's got limbs going into the other trees, and you just got to be careful that it doesn't break a limb off in the next tree and come down on you.
And he also looks very top heavy, like he wants to come this way, but you want him to go that way.
Yeah, so I've got to outsmart him a bit if I can.
Righto, so how are you going to outsmart him?
Well, just loosen him up, and I'll take the end one first and work my way back, and yeah, just got to assess all the weight and which side I'll rip him on. If I need a bit of a hand to hold him, I'll leave one side unripped and rip the side that I want him to go down on.
Righto, now what about that big wide low branch? Are you going to do anything about him?
Well, I might pull him off with the grab if I can reach him.
What, he'll just tear off, will he?
He'll tear off, yeah. Just got to strip him down a little bit, and yeah, it's a bit of a juggling act, really.
Yeah, all right. How's the ground down where you started? Was pretty sloppy. It's getting better, is it?
Yeah, it's drying out a little bit now. It's a bit easier to get round on. Yeah, it wasn't too good at the start there because the machine was just sliding around all over the place. But, now we got a few fine days, so we'll get in and get the rest of these blokes down. And
all right, well, you got to do some work.
Yeah, I better go and seeing the chainsaw stopped. I better go back and throw a few round.
Oh,
I'm feeling pretty good about that because I didn't want to have to go back in with the chainsaw.
that's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, that one too. Rotten in the base. You can see the rot coming up through it. That's all just rotten. It's only a matter of time before they just fall over.
Well, this is the lucky last of that line.
Last of the line, yeah, it's good. It feels really good, actually. We've done probably 2/3 or 3/4 of the job. We can sign off on this part of it now and then move on to this other bit up behind us here.
Now, this row of cypress is next in line to go.
Yes.
Now, have you thought of a strategy? How are you going to manage pushing these over?
Well, they're going to come this way, out to the side. The first 4, maybe 5. Now we've got them out. We've got room for them if they roll around when they're coming down. There's plenty of room there for them to land without doing any damage to anything, and easy to saw up. And then we'll put the heads and the tails up on that heap up there, away from the buildings. And then the other 5 or 6, whatever we end up doing, they'll go that way. The same thing, out on an angle. And then if they ever decide to turn around as they're falling, they've still got a fair bit of room to do so. I may even leave the second one there, and then that'll stop any of these other blokes from actually turning around on me.
Think you'll be able to avoid them landing on those rails down there?
Well, I'm hoping so.
So that's a pretty precision work. I mean, they've got to go that way. So for this end, you'll take that big one. It's got a mighty big butt on him.
Yeah, we'll take him first. We'll push him out on the angle too. And then that'll give us a bit of, if he wants to swing around when he comes down, if the weight pulls him around, it's not going to damage any of the yards.
So you give him an extra quick, swift push if he...
Yep. If he looks like doing that, we'll just hurry him up
because
before he gets time to think about where he's going to swing back around.
You can do that because that last stump from yesterday, you actually threw that, and I thought, hello, he's getting a bit impatient with this stump, and he's lost his temper and he's thrown it halfway across.
I was probably swearing at it under my breath, but no, it's just to save walking the excavator up to the heap. If you can sort of get within a reach that way and then swing it back that way, and also knocks the dirt off the butt.
Yeah,
when
so
it's dry.
Yeah, well, right. So you weren't impatient with it at all. Weren't taking out a bit of irritation on it or anything.
It hadn't irritated me at all. As much as I hate them.
No, because you reckon if you're angry at them, you'd be going the other way.
Yeah, like home. Once I get an idea what they're going to do in that soil, once I get the first one, and if they're going all right, well, I'll just take one at a time and work my way back along them.
And will you be on that side, will
I'll
you?
be on the bottom side, which I don't like being on that much, because if you have a branch come off, that's where it's going to come down on the bottom side. So if I've got the angle, I'm still protecting myself from anything that might drop on the ground.
So if you see a few limbs that you think might want to do that, you can just give them a nice little friendly tear off first, can't you?
Yeah, sometimes you can, but sometimes you can't. They might be too far up in the top there to get them.
Righto, so you're not going to take this one out before you drop them?
No, I think we'll do these bottom ones. It just depends on the condition of the ground below. It's got to be dry so the excavator can get a grip. If it's soft and the excavator sliding around, I've got no control on that, on the tree. It's sort of bossing me then. If the worst comes to the worst, I'll rip that up, tear the surface up, so I'm down on a bit of soil, not on the grass, until I get going.
But you've
got all my deciding when I'm in the excavator.
That sounds good to me. And now the end ones have got big butts for obvious reasons, because there's no competition for the roots.
On the other side, yeah. So the end ones are always big. Or any that's got a fair bit of space, you know, likes of him. He's a fair sort of a tree. Well, he's got nothing in between and he's had a bit more food.
Yeah, he's a thumper, all right.
Once the roots have ripped up, sort of takes a bit of the toughness out of them. Yeah, better get back in that thing and make a bit of noise.
Clean up the mess you've made.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you've already cleaned up a lot of the mess you've made.
Yeah, there's always mess with them. How's that?
That's good, and you've knocked over the last tree.
Yes, yeah, it's a pleasure to see it go.
How did that run of trees go?
Yeah, they worked out all right. Yeah, done the end one first to open it up a bit so there's a bit of a gap there, start me heap. And then I knocked the other two big ones that went up the other side out of the road. So when I fell the rest of these, I could fall them across the side of the hill, away from the buildings, the yards.
Yeah, because you didn't bend a rail or anything.
No, if that happens, I charge them twice as much.
Now, how did you go with the end one up the top? Because it was a whopper.
It was a monster, that one. Yeah, all right. I ripped him round and he's sitting on a big rock pan. I got up the hill so I was pushing him straight down. I had enough room to do that. Yeah, give him a bit of a heave-ho and off he went.
And so then what, all the ones back this way, just pum, 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 one after another?
Yeah, they're just like skittles, them blokes along there. It was just a matter of firing them out across the side of the hill and cut them up and rake the crumbs up.
Good job, well done. 48 trees, was it?
Yeah, around about 50. She's all over.